Good morning, everybody. Hey, woo, that's so exciting. You all made it out of bed this morning, yay. My name is Cynthia Bushy, one of the members of the transition team, along with Audrey, who is sitting at the front. And I have a few announcements before we get started with today's service. First of all, I really want to thank the facilitators from our last Finding Our Way Together service. They did some heavy lifting, recording the gems that you all shared. And Audrey and I have been looking through all of those comments, and I wanted to be sure to let you know we are going to revisit all of those great definitions that you shared of congregation, community, and commitment in a future service. Today's service is focused on belonging, sense of belonging, but we are going to loop back to that. It was not in vain that you did those. I have an announcement from Reverend Abigail that the book group for repentance and on repentance and repair book group that was scheduled to meet tonight has been rescheduled for Sunday, March 24th from 5 to 6:30. So reach out to Reverend Abigail if you have any questions about that. And then my final announcement this morning is to ask you to please, please, please check out the Perspective. Our pledge drive has started. There's concerts galore planned. There's an Equinox celebration, electronics recycling event, a UU revival. All kinds of details are laid out in the Perspective. So check it out. Yes. I would like to welcome you all to First Parish Unitarian Universalist, Northborough. We Unitarian Universalists are a non-creedal, religiously liberal faith tradition. We hold in our worship and in our faith formation that each individual and each community will explore a wide and varied set of beliefs and ideas that encourage us to live life as a spiritual journey, deepening our connections to compassion, justice, and an understanding of eternal truths. Our interim minister is Reverend Abigail Stockman. If you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or First Parish Church, please don't hesitate to reach out to her. We are a community in multiple locations, so let's take a moment to greet one another by waving to those online and those around you until the chime is rung. We ring our chime to call us into this sacred time of worship, followed by a musical prelude.
Good morning. As we come together, we've asked that we say the opening prayer in unison as Anne lights the chalice. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. For our opening hymn, number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness, stand as you are able. At this time, we'd like to invite Corinne up to do our reading.
The reading is an excerpt from The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. When we can let go of what other people think and own our story, we gain access to our worthiness. The feeling that we are enough just as we are, and that we are worthy of love and belonging. When we spend a lifetime trying to distance ourselves from the parts of our lives that don't fit with who we think we're supposed to be, we stand outside of our story and hustle for our worthiness by constantly performing, perfecting, pleasing, and proving. Our sense of worthiness, that critically important piece that gives us access to love and belonging, lives inside of our story. A deep sense of love and belonging is an irreducible need of all women, men, and children. We are biologically, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, and to belong. When those needs are not met, we don't function as we are meant to. We break, we fall apart, we numb, we ache, we hurt others, we get sick. There are certainly other causes of illness, numbing, and hurt, but the absence of love and belonging will always lead to suffering. We cultivate love when we allow our most vulnerable and powerful selves to be deeply seen and known, and when we honor the spiritual connection that grows from that offering with trust, respect, kindness, and affection. Love is not something we give or get. It is something that we nurture and grow, a connection that can only be cultivated between two people when it exists within each one of them. We can only love others as much as we love ourselves. Shame, blame, disrespect, betrayal, and the withholding of affection damage the roots from which love grows. Love can only survive these injuries if they are acknowledged, healed, and rare. Belonging is the innate human desire to be part of something larger than us. Because this yearning is so primal, we often try to acquire it by fitting in and by seeking approval, which are not only hollow substitutes for belonging, but often barriers to it. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance.
Thank you so much for that beautiful gift of song. I'm going to share a poem titled Self-Portrait by David White. It doesn't interest me if there is one God or many gods. I want to know if you belong or feel abandoned. If you know despair or can see it in others, I want to know if you are prepared to live in the world with its harsh need to change you. If you can look back with firm eyes, saying, "This is where I stand." I want to know if you know how to melt into that fierce heat of living, falling toward the center of your longing. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love and the bitter, unwanted passion of your sure defeat. I have heard in that fierce embrace, even the gods speak of God.
At this time, we will be going to do our joys and sorrows. It's a privilege that we have as a faith community to hold each other's story and to raise up people's concerns and support one another. So if you would start to line up over to the right, if anyone wants to share, and perhaps we can alternate with those on Zoom that may be having a concern to share, and just mention your name. We'd like to enter into the part of our service that we call deepening. And to start out, what we'd like to do is give you time to reflect on the questions that we had given last time about belonging. And actually, love and belonging go together. So that's why that theme you'll see throughout our service. So I'm going to read the questions, and then we're going to take some time to just quietly reflect. If you haven't had time to do that during the week, you can do that now. What has to be present for you to experience a sense of belonging? In which communities and congregations have you experienced a sense of belonging, and why? How does your sense of belonging relate to your level of commitment? So as I said, we're going to take about 7 minutes for you to respond to these questions, either for the first time or just to review your answers that you've written. And as you respond to these questions, try to link it to the readings that you heard from Brene Brown and David White. Before we break into small groups, I'd like to recite together the agreement that came from the congregation when we first met of things that they would want to see in order to make them free to share. So if we could read this together to remind ourselves of what those items were that were so important to us then. Space and time to explore our own emotions and ideas, and to reflect on the sharings of others with an understanding that the space between words also holds meaning. Intentionally quiet time can help us center ourselves in the present moment. Active listening to hear one another fully and without judgment, and to accept what is said without interruption, comment, debate, or unsolicited response, both when we agree with what was shared and when we do not agree. Courage to risk sharing what may feel awkward or hard, and trust in ourselves and in each other that what we are inspired or moved to say is worth saying and will make a difference when it is shared. Understanding that different truths can coexist and even our own deepest truth can change over time. Ideas we once thought to be true can evolve and grow. Acceptance of the diverse ways individuals show up in our shared space. We will both support each other as we are and celebrate who we become. Empathy, caring, and kindness, knowing that others' empathy can give us confidence to speak our truths. Bearing witness to one another is powerful. Commitment to each other, personal sharing is sacred and private, so we will keep what is shared here in confidence, even with our closest friends and family. Once we cross the threshold of this shared time and space. When we recite something like that, we take ownership of it, and that is so important. At this time, we'd like to break into small groups, so we will count you off so you know what group that you're a part of.
Could I ask the facilitators, I know a few of you chose a spot, so we have Karen facilitating in the back corner, Corey in the roving room, and then Celia, do you want to take the foyer area? And Cindy, you can take that back corner over there. So facilitators, you can go to your spots, and then Audrey will have you count off.
Before you do leave, one thing, in your sharing, there are the 3 questions, but you don't have to deal each person answer each question. Just go around the one time and pick whatever question spoke to you most and share that with the group, and then give each other the feedback. So, okay?
Audrey and Cynthia, how long will the sessions last?
We have 2 Zoom, thank you, Alan. We have 2 Zoom facilitators today, Alan Brooks and Linda Clark. So Audie, if you can figure out how to send them into 2 breakout rooms, that would be great. And we're going to take 10 minutes today. So the first round will be to lift up what, as Audrey said, was most compelling for you. And then the second round, so use about half the time for that. And then the second round will be lifting up things you heard other people say, as we've done in the past. So thank you to those on Zoom for being so punctual. We're trying to catch up with you, and we'll have all our groups back soon.
Feeling discussions could go on much longer, but I would like to share a reading Again, Brene Brown has been our go-to for this morning, if you haven't guessed that. But I'd like to share this
Thank you, Olga. I would like you all to rise as you're willing and able for our closing hymn, which is number 1021, Lean on Me. Thank you. You can remain standing if you would. We're going to, the chalice may have extinguished itself. We're not sure though, check, because the flame was really low. I think we need to refill the oil. But as Anne is checking out the chalice, let's read together our benediction, number 680. The words are in your order of service. Because of those who came before, we are. In spite of their failings, we believe. Because of and in spite of the horizons of their vision, we too dream. Let us go remembering to praise, to live in the moment, to love mightily, to bow to the mystery.